All right, team. This is your host, Charles Beckel from Brooklyn Traders. I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are. First, I'd like to thank everyone who signed up to get access to this video. That matters, you matter, and you are awesome. Okay, so no social media garbage, no list of tickers I'm throwing against the wall. I'm just here getting you all the good stuff, right? What you're looking for. All right. So, right now we're going to look at what we're going to be calling our earnings runners. This is going to be for April 26th, 27th, 2026. Okay. I'll try to do these things quarterly, permitting, but let's get right to it. All right, so what are we looking for here? Here's the criteria, right? We're looking for insiders buying. Okay, we're looking for charts that are bottoming out. We're looking for a low float stock, and we are looking for a situation where the tape looks kind of favorable. And so beating down names is things that I'm looking for, and yeah, we assigned a few criteria or star system. The thing that makes this list vitally important, okay, is the fact that we're looking at recent insider buys. Recent insider buys are so important. Okay, we're going to give those 2 stars. Chart bottoming out, we're going to give it 1 star. Of course, we are looking for beating down names. Also, stocks that are low float. Something I neglected to put on here, most of these names, except for one, are also high short interest, right? So with any kind of earnings surprise, they could really, really run. So one of these names, actually the strongest of one of these, is just a favorite of mine's, and you know it. Oh, I know what you were gonna think. I bet you think I was gonna talk about my favorite stock. Nope, I'm talking about Fiserv. All right. Let's talk about Fiserv here. All right. Fiserv is a major payments and financial technology company. Okay, they serve banks, merchants, businesses. So it's not exactly a tiny and speculative name, but it is a name that has been beaten down. It is a name that was shorted to pieces. I mean, one bad earnings in this thing fell about 50%. Okay. But I really believe this is a good company. I believe that there's a huge turnaround story here. Um, I think the chart has found a bottom. Okay. And one thing that I love about Fiserv is that it has some notable insiders buying. You had Paul M. Todd, who bought as a CFO, and Adam L. Rossman, who recently bought um, uh, sometime in December. Okay. And what I love about the float in Fiserv is that it's just above 30 million, but it constitutes as low float. So um, I know that this is the low float bonus is not in. I know anything under 30 million, 20 million constitutes, but I would call it a low float. I mean, considering how big the company is, you know. So Fiserv gets 3 out of the 4 possible stars, and I think this thing could really get going. Okay. Again, there's a reason why the insiders recently bought just a couple of months ago, shy of earnings. All right. The next name is, my favorite, Uber. Okay. Um, guys, about Uber. It's our favorite ticker. Definitely not low float. Um, Not really highly shorted either. Okay, that's why it has a 2 star rating. But it has one of the most important things, right? It has insiders buying. The CFO bought literally 2 months ago in February, right? So obviously the float is really huge. The chart is kind of flattening out. Let me just kind of pop up the Uber chart here. Yeah, I like the way this chart looks. I like the Uber chart here. One a weekly time frame. I think Uber looks really, really good. Okay. That's the yearly right there. Yeah, I'm really liking Uber. I really am. All right. So yeah. Uber is one of our favorites. I believe that Uber could possibly be back to 90 and maybe well over 100 for an all-time high. Okay, I'm really looking for some of the automation stuff to come in with Uber. Uber is not one of our wildest names, but it's, I believe, long term, probably one of the most explosive. But I give this 2 out of 4 stars for Uber. All right. Watch for earnings. When is the earnings now for Uber? Earnings, I believe, is in the beginning of May. Look around like early May, like May 5th or something like that. All right. So that is that on Uber. Okay. Next name on this list is EOS Energy. Okay. EOS is a zinc based long duration energy storage company that is very different from Fiserv or Uber. One thing I like about EOS is that it's heavily shorted. Okay. Heavily shorted. Not a huge float either. Okay. Not a gigantic float on EOS. Okay. So the float size, I believe it is probably somewhere under 100. Let's just check really quick. Let me just check really quick. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So I got to do some homework here. I do apologize. I didn't have it pulled up. But yeah, EOS's float is about 53 million, right? So not very huge, okay, but not exactly small either. For reference, when GameStop went off, GameStop had barely over 100 million, right? And so, yeah, I mean, 50 million is half that. So I would say it's a smaller float, right? So not micro float, smaller floated stock. So yeah, I think EOS has definitely some gas in the engine here. I do believe the chart is looking pretty tasty down here. Okay, this is the EOS chart, right? Kind of fell back into the channel. It looks like it's kind of fixing itself there on EOS. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Recent insider buying from a director and their CEO in March of 2026. With all of these criteria, we give EOS for runner's potential. Okay, we give EOS 3 out of the 4 stars. All right. Okay, not fully clean, but it's looking pretty good. All right. All right, next up on the list is Neurontics. Okay, again, guys, I told you, gonna give you some names you had never heard before, and here we are with Neurontics. Okay, um, it's a solid 4 stars. Okay, um, this is a biotech. Okay, they got some really weird science stuff going on. I mean, transcranial magnetic simulation platform used to treat major depressive disorders. I mean, yeah, guys, we know how it is when those biotechs get going. When biotechs get going, whoo wee, right? Um, this is the chart. For its ticker symbol is STEM. I mean, look at this chart. I mean, it looks beautiful, right? That's 3 years. Wasn't planning for this, but let's look at the 10 year, right? Okay, so this thing has gotten just beaten down, right? Beaten down, beaten down. Some big legs down here after earnings, but you see, if you notice, we're coming down, we're coming down, we're coming down. Stair step down, stair step down. But after the stair step downs, right? It looks like we're just kind of see. This is a large cup right there, and this looks like it had a little handle, but we failed again into kind of another cup, right? But what I like here, right, after you look at this kind of larger cup on the weekly time frame, is a higher low into a squeeze, right? So I think this thing is going. I mean, look at it. It looks beautiful. This thing looks like it's just ready to pop. I like it down here. If I don't have shares already, I'm going to get some shares. I do believe I may have some options on this. And so um, I basically do already have or plan to have positions on all of these names. But yeah, Neurontics, four stars out of four. I mean, it has insider buying, chart curl, and it has a low float, 24 million guys. When these biotechs going, I mean, we've seen it happen time and time again, from $1 to five to 10, 10 to 20. I mean, guys, literally in less than a year, this thing could be $100. Okay, so I think this definitely has 5x, 10x, 100x potential. Again, um, not financial advice. Okay, do everything at your own risk. Okay, we will be having our um, financial disclosures in the very beginning. But team, I like this stock. I like it. I mean, shoo, it just looks so good, you know. And what I like about it the most is that it's cheap, tight float, insider buying, and we have earnings coming up too. Um, I don't have the dates here, but I know that most of these names, if it's not the first week in May, it's like the second week. So let's say May 5th, May 7th, or May 14th. You know, a lot of these names are just around there, and I do apologize for that. Um, yeah, but yeah, Neurontics, okay? Now, this list, unfortunately, is over, okay? So, again, just a quick review, right? We got Fiserv, Uber, EOS Energy, and Neurontics, okay? And so, which one is going to run? Which one is going to flop? I can't tell you, but guys, we have insiders, we have structure. For most of these, we have a lower or smaller float. We got great tape, you know. And before we get out of here, I do have some honorable mentions here, okay? I left some of these off the list, and as you can see, I even have some very unsexy charts, okay? I have New Fortress Energy. It's a distressed energy play. It's lotto. It's got high short interest. It's got a really damaged chart. It does have earnings coming up again early May. All right, so check it out. The reason why I didn't have this on the list, and the reason why none of these are made the list, they came close, but the trigger that we were looking for on these names are recent insider buys. Now, here's what I'll let you know, right? If you're talking about, see, I do have it here. I do have it handy. If we're talking about NFE, right? New Fortress had insider buying this time last year, and it hasn't had any sales, right? So in 2025, in March, we had insider buying from its CFO, and looks like a large whale investor. Oh no, that's their CEO. So their CEO and CFO bought a bunch of shares back in May of last year on New Fortress, okay, and it's pretty low, 64 cents, right? So it's a true lotto play. Again, high short interest, earnings coming up. I mean, listen, if you got 200, 500, or $1,000 to blow, I mean, what could go wrong? Guys, remember, this is a casino, right? But always manage your risk. Okay. Next on this list here is Iova. Okay, Iova's here on the top right. Iova, again, another biotech platform. Chart curling, earnings on May the 14th. It has pressure cooker potential. One thing about Iova here, I just saw it. Yep, we had not earnings. We had insiders buy a lot of insider buying of March and June of last year. Again, no recent insider buys, so no trigger. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, it looks like it has a pretty, well, except for here, it looks like it had, you know, this thing could pop on earnings, right? And so definitely take a look at Iova. Another honorable mention, again, unfortunately, no recent insider buys. We have HRTX, Heron Therapeutics, again, another biotech. Low price. A lot of these are high, pretty much all of these are high short interest as well. Okay. That's how I found a lot of these first, right? They're all high short interest. The most recent insider buys are not like most recent in time, but the last insider activities were all buys, right? And so with specifically with Heron here, therapeutics, I think it's got some momentum. Again, it's a dollar. I mean, I'm sure this chart just got eradicated, right? I mean, in 3 years, I mean, you can see tail of the tape. The high was 393. We're all the way down here. We have some support around 80 cents. I mean, again, what could go wrong? You have $500 thrown in there. Again, not financial advice. Don't get clapped. All right. So that's Heron Therapeutics. Again, this is Brooklyn Traders talking about Heron, right? Haha, made a funny gangster dad joke. That's how we do it here. All right, and the last name, just an honorable mention here, is SNBR. Sleep Number, again, consumer name. Chart got beat up just like the rest of them, right? Again, had a high of $39, guys, and the chart looks like it had found some support around $9, and then kind of fell apart, took another leg down on earnings, and now we got another floor. And so, look, SNBR could go to zero, right? But here's the thing about SNBR, okay? Here's why it's on this list, all right? Guys, we had insider buying in October of 2024. Okay, that's a hedge fund with 10% interest. Insider buying in 2025. I don't know who this person is. Another, I guess another whale, two whales. In February and March of 2025. We have the president of the company who bought shares of last year in May. The executive vice president, CFO, bought shares. A director bought shares in May, and then the interim CFO, I guess the other guy left. Well, he left. I don't know if it doesn't look like he sold his shares. But again, another insider, interim CFO, bought shares again in August of 2025. And so, guys, all these names, high short interest. Most of these have smaller floats, okay? Definitely under 100 million. I don't have the exact numbers here. I had a chart with everything on here, and I just kind of whizzled it away. Not really sure what I did with it, but let's just say lower floats than normal. Not like, let's say under, give or take, somewhere between 50 to 300 million, which isn't a ton. Most of these I would gamble is under 100 to 200 million. I just don't have the numbers directly here in front of me, so I do apologize. Anyway, guys, that's the full board. Okay, we have our picks, we have our honorable mentions. Again, guys, not financial advice. Stay frosty out there. Don't get clapped. This is Charlie B at Brooklyn Traders. Thanks, guys.